Good evening, ladies and germs. I got a couple changes here to what I was going to talk about tonight in detail, to the point I had pages of, like, I don't know what you want to call it, a script and things I wanted to say. But without naming names, after seeing a certain individual who, again, jumped a little too fast a few years ago and judged me and was part of causing a whole shitstorm of things that never should have happened as the result of some decent people just trying to help some horses and others feeling offended and protecting um, their friends, or so they thought, not realizing that their friends were wrong. You know, I've mentioned it over the last week or so. Things were brought to me, mentioned on another chat forum about, harness racing. Something that I didn't know about that was done 2 years ago in a live stream. And I finally listened to it. And I should have just taken the old cliche, just take the high road. Why even bother? Especially with what that person's going through. But the more people keep poking, I have one problem. I got a bad temper. Much better than it used to be. And I react impulsively when someone comes at me, when I should just, like I always say to everybody else, step back, take a breath, assess the situation, think, and then react. But anyway, I've dealt with it. Some friends of mine had a little fun with it. But in the end, do I really like seeing people sick or hurting? No, I don't wish it on anybody. Anything that's happening to any of us is the result of our own actions or lack thereof. I used to smoke. I never did drugs. I never drank. I never did anything stupid, try to hurt people, we say on purpose, but I have along the way hurt people. And I had enormous regret and remorse for things that I've done over the years, things I've done with my own family. And over the years, I have learned to rebuild that with certain people that I should and deserve it, and I've earned it. And others that they don't, I've tried and I've reached out. And if it didn't work, hey, I feel better that I tried to do the right thing. But I called this, I said, we're not obligated to have to react to anybody positively or feel empathy, sympathy, anything. For people who have harmed others, and then all of a sudden when things go bad for them and misfortune comes their way, we didn't create it. And, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry for you. Okay. But don't look to me to have to feel as though I'm going to start sending chocolates or whatever and sitting here waxing poetically over people who have hurt God knows how many other people along the way. And to this day, I've been listening to this other person, still can't just say my fault. Always somebody else's fault. Comparing to other people who did this. Well, this guy did this and he didn't do as much time as it just can't be humble and own it. I've done some stupid shit. I've owned it. I've paid the price. This gentleman goes on to saying that I changed my life in the late 70s, and I admit I got away with things. But after that, life was tough. Well, that means you didn't get away with it. You have been paying for your actions because people saw what you were doing and have treated you accordingly. That's why you didn't excel anymore after that. Once you were found out, people stepped back, gave you a wide berth, didn't want to do business with you. You may not have paid in the court of law or the commission office in the game for your actions, although this person had 3 times and came back. But still, my point again is you paid worse. And you still can't just say, it was me. I was wrong. It's all me. Things that I've done. Hardest thing I ever did in my life was leaving my children. This person brings this stuff up in defense of animal abusers and calls me an animal abuser and that I was an unfit never a father, all this kind of crap. They'll do anything they can to cover the truth. People split up, things happen. Doesn't mean you've abandoned your children. Okay. It's incredible how some people will find as themselves and paint themselves as the victim while pointing fingers at everyone else who's done nothing wrong. I guess what they call that projection. I don't know. So that's as far as I'm going to go on that. As long as I don't hear anything else about this person running his mouth about me, all I can say is I hope, he finds peace. I don't wish, torturous pain on him. I don't wish that on anybody. And anything that happens is the result of his own actions and the way he lived his life. Nobody else. Nobody forces any of us to do anything. So let's get back. I was listening, and he's even talking about scammers in the business. I'm like, scamming and outright thievery, there's not that much of a line between them. Scamming is just stealing money a different way. Fixing races is stealing money. Whatever. I can't wrap my head around stuff like this. And there was some veiled threats and some alluding to, guys who are out there running their mouths trying to feel as though they're relevant. Well, I can't possibly talk about me because what our group, and when I say our group, it's not my group, I created it, but it's our group, Equine Advocacy Alliance, is incredibly relevant. Look at what all of us together have gotten done as a team. And let's go back to the buns. Our most recent, let's say, everyone that's had a hand in it victory. Well, I got a message tonight from an individual from and I'm not familiar with all these organizations in the quarter horse, pinto, paint, whatever organizations. Not my, I'm just unfamiliar with it. But a regional pinto organization took what happened, the report and I guess you could call it a ruling, and actions by the AQHA regarding Gail Bunn with a list of basically, you're out. You're not doing business with us anymore. Any kind of even remotely distant association with her will not be recognized. There won't be any transfers. Beautiful. Let's just keep putting up the roadblocks so these people are never able to operate, even in the shadows. I've seen it. We all see how that works in harness racing, horse racing, bearding, hidden ownership, whatever, what have you. Put them out of business. Let the law do what they do. If they're found guilty, however they're penalized, and make sure that it's on the record that they can never touch a horse again. Or again, any animal for that matter. But this individual did contact the National Pinto Organization, and they are now aware of what happened. So hopefully they follow suit in what we call, that word we use a lot with the harness racing game, reciprocity. Okay, if one organization, especially AQHA, has an incredible reputation, as an incredibly entrenched and respected organization, if they made a move like this, obviously this is real. We're going to follow suit. And you just got to keep out there and keep pushing it. If whoever you are, the way we're able to get so much done so quickly and this thing accelerated was, and the powers that be in law enforcement admitted that the phones were just ringing off the hook, was public outcry. Doesn't matter. One gentleman, and I got on him a little hard, and I feel bad. He said, "Okay, well, that's great that HQHA did something, but there's other organizations out there, it's a good start." And I'm like, "Well, have you contacted them?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Why not? That's what we need. Even if you're not associated with them." I have nothing to do with anything in the quarter horse world, and I immediately acted in every possible way I could, made every contact I could, expressed my concern through my experiences that if you allow these people to continue, it will happen again. And if you recognize allowing even not so much close relations, or even semi close or distant relations to continue to take the horses that were in uh, Mr. A's name and put them in Mr. A's son's name, you've accomplished nothing in stopping them. Okay. Don't let it happen. So thankfully, it's moving toward just ending them from being able to, and we'll see again. I want to see what the DA is able to accomplish because when you have organizations like this, like the American Quarter Horse Association, that is saying we're never going to allow you to do business with us again or register an animal or anything, breeding, whatever, that's pretty damning. And for them to take that stance without worry of facing like the USTA always backs up, well, they don't want to get themselves in any kind of legal issues. The guilt is the guilt. And somewhere you put your foot down. Plus, I believe they're a private organization, not unlike United States Trotting Association, which I think is a 501c6 and basically membership driven and has its own set of rules. So, you know, they're not stopping them from continuing to board horses, because if that's going to be allowed, whether you own them or not, they're just doing their part and saying, you're not going to do business with us. And anyone else that follows suit be treated the same way. I did just check on eCourts again. I don't see any court dates. I don't know how it works. I guess it's Town of Marcy. It seems to be a smaller court, more of a town court. So when they schedule, they schedule. I'm sure that they're giving them time to obtain representation. I don't think there's, because there hasn't even been a first hearing yet. So there'll have to be a hearing. We'll know all that stuff. But moving forward, there's another case that came up. I was sent video of a farm. I'll have all the details posted with the video. But it shows horses and animals and a barn. I don't even know how to, I always say I don't know how to explain this, but there's one level of things, and then there's the mistreatment, the neglect, the dirty stalls, but then there's a barn that I have before video, and it's almost a mirrored picture, a mirrored video. And it's a beautiful setup. It's a beautiful barn, clean, horses look good, stalls look good. The barn is, pretty much immaculate. And then there's another video 3 years later where an individual was allowed to rent this place. You'll see the video. I'm probably going to post it tomorrow, if not by Saturday, but it's going to say something about before and after, and then it's going to give you a general idea where. I've been trying to make a connection with law enforcement on this one as well. I have all the names, I have all the details, but it's something that others have over a 2-year period have made multiple complaints. It's gotten nowhere. I'm going to try to see if I can resurrect / accelerate this thing. And if there was any wrongdoing there, we know the drill. If you're doing something illegal, you're supposed to pay the consequences. So I'm just going to leave it at that. We're all responsible for what we've done. That's it. And I am never going to fake some kind of concern for people that I don't care about. Doesn't mean I wish anything on them, but from what they have done, especially where I stand as an advocate and representing people who love horses, and someone who I can't have a horse other than the one that I might have hidden. I don't know, because, my enemies certainly don't want me involved in the game, because that's right. I represent transparency and accountability. And, that other thing that we talk about all the time in harness racing, integrity. There's an incredible lack of that. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll let you go. I'm going to post that, like I said, tomorrow. Next live stream, I've got a couple people who want to talk in regards to the Stitville case, and who have had horses with these people, have knowledge from inside the way things were, the way they operated, and one person who was able to rescue their horse out of there about 2 weeks ago. Haven't talked about it, I saw the pictures. There was no way for them to hold this animal because the animal was still in that person's name, registered as the owner. There was no argument, and that they were surely in no position to argue at that point. Hopefully, they come forward. I don't want to throw anybody, not so much under the bus, but if they're not comfortable yet, give them time, because people like this, from what I'm being told, well, it's from the experiences. Anyone's capable of anything when they're finally caught and called out. We've seen it happen. We've heard about it. We've seen people that try to defend them and stick up for them and make excuses for them. So anything's possible. I don't want to get anybody hurt, especially people that are scared. Certainly don't want to put them in harm's way. I'll catch you all later.